It's time to break down the biggest stories of the day. This is the top 3 stories of the day on KSLSports.com. On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jacob in 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Want to remind you about Win Ticket Wednesday, your chance to win big every week. This week, we're going to be hooking you up with tickets to go see Holiday Lights at the ballpark at America First Square. A brand new, immersive holiday tradition opening November 14th. Reserve your tickets at the ballpark at theballpark@afs.com. And listen to the KSL Sports Zone all day on Wednesday for your chance to win. Time for the top 3 stories of the day. KSLSports.com, brought to you by J. Brooks Jewelers. Cherish your love with J. Brooks Jewelers. Explore their expertly crafted engagement rings made from the finest materials. J. Brooks Jewelers. All right, Christian, where are we starting today?
Number 1, Jazz lost to the Timberwolves by 40 on Friday night. Looking for revenge tonight at home.
Same Timberwolves team tonight here. It just looked. This was what I was trying to parse out was that Game 5 of a 5-game road trip where teams just want to go home. It's a young team specifically who's not playing particularly well, so they just shut it down. Or was that a team that pulled back the curtain of what they really are, and that's what the rest of the season is going to look like? Not down 28 at the end of the first quarter. Were they down 29-9? I think to open the game. Whatever it was a 20-point game immediately. But that's what I was trying to figure out. Is this the rest of the season, or was that Game 5 of a 5-game roadie?
Do you remember, and I don't expect you to remember everything I say, but do you remember my takeaway from the Pistons game?
What was it?
They should have lost by 30.
Yes.
And they did not. And what was the reason for that? The reason they should have lost by 30 ain't going away. So tired road trip, sure. I mean, they lost by 40. Do I think this team's going to lose by 40 every night? No, I do not.
No team's ever done that.
So, in fact, this is the first game in franchise history they've ever lost by 40.
Oh, really?
They've lost by more.
Oh, okay.
But it's the first time they've hit 40 on the nose.
On the dot. Okay. I didn't know.
Which I don't know if that's particularly relevant. But anyway, first time they've ever lost by exactly 40. But they're super flawed now because of Walker Kessler's injury.
Mm-hmm.
On both sides, offensively and defensively. And I thought on Friday, if people want to go review what Ben said on Friday's show, I would encourage you to podcast it. But you painted a picture of why they miss him on both sides, particularly offensively. And
yeah.
I think you were right on the money. Because Nurk, Kevin Love, and Phil aren't doing anything for you.
No, they're not.
They're not doing any, and that's not going to change. It's just not. I mean, I know people are high on Phil, but if he gets there, he ain't there yet. I still don't know what position he plays, and now all of a sudden you have to play him at big for stretches during the game.
Yeah.
And how's that going to go? Not well is the answer. So I don't know. Ben, Mo Bamba is not the answer.
Probably not.
Oscar
no.
Tshiebwe is not the answer. And honestly, if the idea is to try hard and lose, then they don't do anything. But as it stands now, they can't get the offense going. They can't stop anybody at the rim. It's going to be a lot of nights like this because they're now fundamentally flawed.
Yeah, they have a fatal flaw.
Yep.
That is why Walker Kessler's probably been the most irreplaceable player on their roster for a couple of years now. He's pretty unique. He's not the best center in the NBA, but what he does is really valuable to NBA teams.
He was like the only positive storyline last year, the fact that he turned into a monster, and it looked like he was going to take another step this year, and that's really a shame that this shoulder injury brought that journey to a halt. But what it does do is make the Jazz significantly worse.
Last 5 games, which is not exactly when Walker went out. Let me see.
No,
it was
but
against the Suns. That's when he got hurt.
Yeah.
So it's been 5 games since you've had a fully healthy Walker. Since then, the Jazz's offensive rating, which is points you score per 100 possessions, is the worst in the NBA. It's less than 100 per game. Which
I was going to say probably by a mile.
Borderline unheard of.
Yeah.
Well, there are other teams who are truly atrocious this year. The Indiana Pacers have 1 win on the season. I think they're 1-9 to start the year, something like that. They are
like that
at 100.6.
Like that?
So they're even a full point better, which a full point is not nothing when you're talking about these types of rankings. So Jazz are truly horrendous. Jazz might have the worst net rating in the NBA in that stretch. Second worst net rating in that stretch, which is your offensive rating minus your defensive rating.
The two positives from that game, Ben, if you want to look at positives, Ace Bailey played really well in his 24 minutes with 12 and 6. Mm-hmm. And Keontae, I wouldn't throw in the played really well category, but I will throw him into the I tried really hard category, which is important for him. He did not stay at the hotel. I mean, he played hard.
Or get angry at his teammates for stinking.
Or any of that stuff.
And say, I'm going to take my ball and play Keontae ball, which is what he did for his first 2 years of his career.
I thought he was pretty good. So there's two minor positives. Actually, Ace playing well is not minor, I would argue, but there you go.
I think that's an important point to make, not for Keontae specifically or not for Ace specifically, but what is going to be something that is worth rallying around, and not for the fans, I mean for the team. What is going to keep people excited about being on this basketball team? Because it's not Yusuf Nurkic playing 30 minutes a game. And it's not Lauri Markkanen doing whatever Lauri Markkanen is doing. And that's not a criticism. It's just we know what Lauri can do. We know what he can't do. And that's what he continues to be in the NBA. So what's going to be the next thing that the team is kind of excited about and is fun to be a part of? Because if you don't have it, this year's going to turn out like last year. Last year was untenable.
And this might happen a lot.
Yeah. What we saw on Friday is going to be not the norm. You don't lose by 40 most nights, to your point. But it's going to be in the deck of cards every single night you step on the floor.
No,
possible you draw this.
They're going to play against a lazy Clipper team every once in a while, and it's not really going to hurt them. But to the point, I mean, and I always like pointing to the brilliance of this show. I mean, the number one storyline was always going to be, and currently is, can Ace Bailey become a star?
And that might have to be the excitement
to
of
be
the
famous.
Team. That might have to be the thing to rally everybody is, this kid is doing some things that we don't have anyone else on the team that can do, and so we're going to rally behind him.
If they don't square his dang shoulders when he shoots, I'm going to go insane. And maybe he's Jeff Malone, who just has a terrible quirk that actually doesn't work against him, but
I'm with you.
Face the basket.
Yeah, right. Get your hips and your shoulders lined up and adjacent to the basket. If it's going at you, you need to make a right angle with your hips and your
that's the one thing with
shoulders.
Jeff Malone. He was falling to the right, but he was
square.
Facing the basket.
He was square.
What's next?
Number 2, BYU struggled on Saturday in Lubbock. Can they turn the page quickly and avoid a second loss this week against TCU?
There were some good outcomes for Utah. Because we're making up the college football playoff ranking week by week. I'm not necessarily sure what to believe or what to say is good or bad, especially when it comes to what happens with BYU or Texas Tech. You might be able to think you know what's better, BYU winning or BYU losing. But I would look at the teams behind Utah that we had said were maybe set up to leap them over the weekend. Had they gotten big wins, like had Missouri beaten Texas A&M, the College Football Playoff Committee would have loved to say, an SEC team beat a top 5 team. They've got to go up to number 10. And we didn't see that a whole lot. Iowa did not beat Oregon. Virginia lost to Wake Forest. Some of these teams that were 14, 15, 16, 17 to 20 that I think had a case to jump Utah with a good win, for the most part, did not get those wins.
Well, we could talk about BYU not getting beaten twice, but if we're talking about Utah getting into the playoff, the only relevant thing is the record of the ACC. And maybe you could argue the record of the SEC middle.
Yeah, if Vanderbilt losing would have been way better for Utah. Had Vandy lost to Auburn, that probably would have been a good loss.
If that's the direction we're going, Utah couldn't have had a better weekend. Well, they could have if BYU would have beaten Texas Tech. But if you look at Louisville losing, UVA losing,
Washington
there was another
lost to Wisconsin.
Who lost to Wake Forest? Was that UVA? I think that was UVA.
Virginia, yeah.
I mean, brutal losses in the ACC because that league really sucks. And so if they only get the automatic in, then that way betters the Big 12 likelihood of getting at least 2.
Yeah, definitely 2.
And opening the possibility for 3. Yeah. But BYU can't lose again. And my Bearcats might get them. That's going to be a tough game. And I would guess that BYU doesn't have too much trouble putting this one in the rear view.
No. I'll be curious the physical
There's
toll
still a
that
lot
Texas Tech takes on you.
There's still a lot to play for, being my point.
For BYU?
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing has changed for BYU at all.
No.
That's the nice thing about this game is it would have been fun to win, top 10 matchup, ton of eyeballs. People are going to now doubt BYU because the game that they watched other than the Holy War most closely was a game against Texas Tech, and you got the doors blown off. It was a very bad performance for BYU, and that's what people are going to remember. But if BYU takes care of business, they're going to the playoff.
Would they fall to 12 or something like that in the AP poll?
Yeah, we'll see the college football playoff poll coming up this weekend.
No, I'm not going to look at it.
Or I should say tomorrow, Tuesday night. Yeah, BYU at home against TCU. They should crush them. But TCU is a pretty good team. And then Cincinnati. It's not a cakewalk of a final schedule for BYU. But they have handled all the teams they're better than, and I think they're better than everybody else in their schedule until they get to the conference championship game.
Right.
Which should still be the expectation.
And then BYU beats Texas Tech. The SEC and the ACC flounder, and then that's how they get 3 teams in.
But, man, you can't lose to Texas Tech twice.
You know what would be...
And I don't mean the conference championship game. I mean you can't let TCU come in and surprise you at home because you're still looking back at what happened on Saturday.
All right, so here's my prediction for you. Because we all know that the playoff committee is looking for every excuse not to include the Big 12 or the ACC, right? And they kind of did last year because they had to. If BYU loses to Texas Tech in the conference championship game, only one Big 12 team gets in.
You think?
They'll use it as an excuse to say, well,
there was one good team.
BYU's a 2-loss team, and so is Utah, and BYU beat Utah, and we don't want to let BYU in, so we're not going to let either one.
I can see that. Absolutely.
Because that's what they want to do.
I agree.
All right, what's next?
Number 3, remember that 7-game Utah Mammoth win streak that feels like forever ago? They've now lost 5 of their last 6.
Their one win was in overtime on the road against a not very good Buffalo team. This has been a difficult stretch of opponents that they are playing. Edmonton is good. Tampa Bay is good. Toronto is good. Montreal is good. Ottawa's not great, but that was also the last game of this Herculean road trip where they started on October 23rd at St. Louis. They've had one home game since, as we know. One home game in the midst of a, 9-game road trip, essentially, is basically a road game in itself. You come home, you get right back on the road. You're not spending any time in your bed, other than there was a weird gap before that. But, yeah, they need to come home. They need to get home and get right, and they'll have an opportunity against Buffalo coming up on Wednesday.
Excuses, Ben.
Probably.
Yeah, you lose 5 out of 6. You're supposed to be a playoff team.
Yeah, you can't
You're
do
sucking
that.
it up out there.
You can't do that.
I don't care where you are.
Because you're just barely above 500 now, 9-7-0.
Barely beating Buffalo, who stinks.
Not squeaking out.
That's
even
the win?
Points in overtime. Yeah, that hurts you. That's going to be
I don't
a
know.
flaw.
Home, road, whatever. I mean, if we were talking about the Donovan Mitchell Jazz, which is, get into the playoffs at that level, and they lost 5 of 6, we'd be clowning them. So let's not talk about losing 5 and 6 is okay. If you're a playoff team and that's the expectation and you're paying all these young players, we got to get out and win hockey games.
And it is that second line that has not been particularly good, that was so good, that baby line of Gunther and Cooley and JJ
they switched it
Peterka.
up, right, before the last game?
Well, they're making changes on the power play, and yes, they are trying, and I think Barrett Hayton got moved down.
Yep.
Cooley got moved up. Am I correct on that?
Yeah,
Yes.
they switched Cooley and Hayton.
And still did not get the types of results they were looking for. And then the defense has not been very good. They've given up 6 points, or 6 goals, 4 goals, 2 in the win against Buffalo. Or I guess 1 in the win against Buffalo. 5 goals, 6 goals, and 4 goals. So they gotta get right. They gotta come home and they gotta start playing better.
Hey, good news for Christian. I just saw a link. You're a YouTube subscriber. You can claim your $20. Do you want me to send that to you?
Will you send it to my parents?
Yes, I will. You got
Thanks.
it. All right, stay tuned. We'll have more coming up next.
Is your dad's government email working again?
Jacob Ben, yeah, right. Jacob Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.